Hello, Mingalaba Dhamma class. My name is Thazanjo, and my Buddhist name is Janapali, which means power of concentration. Today, I will be your presenter for part 1 of this Dhamma class. Today's Dhamma class is on Sunday, May 18, 2025. We meet every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Arizona and Pacific time. Anyone interested in Buddhist teachings is welcome to join us on Zoom. Use the ID 413-460-4622 and the password Buddha20, all lowercase. Remember, the Zoom ID and password will stay the same every week. In today's Dhamma class, we will learn about Part 1a, Buddha Gamanagata, Alawakagata, offerings, taking the Dhisarana and precepts, the Metta chant, and meditation. Part 1b, Adhitthana, determination, mindfulness on death, wishing, and sharing. Part 2, Parita chanting, discussions, questions and answers, translations from the prayer book, and some kids reciting Pali prayers from the book. Today's substitute will be Hingnaong. So Hingnaong, please have your prayer books and the correct pages ready and close by. Before we begin, here are some important rules and regulations. If you're reading a substitution or participating in Part 1a, please try to join the Zoom meeting at least 5 minutes early. Please do not eat or drink during the prayer time, as it is very disrespectful. If you're hungry, make sure to eat before joining the meeting next time. Sit up straight and center yourself in front of your camera. Keep your camera on at all times, or you may be removed from the meeting. If you're not a part of the Dhamma class, you're free to turn off your camera. Please don't fidget or play around, as it can disturb others who are praying. The prayer session is only 15 minutes, so please be mindful and respectful. For those chanting, please chant clearly and slowly, so that others can follow along. We would greatly appreciate it if everyone stays respectfully until the end of the meeting. Now, please put your hands together. We'll begin with Buddha Gamana Gata. We believe you'll do great.
Buddha Gamanagata Angira Sasa Unaya Tata Hi Sitaram Siyo Wajirawa Wiro Janti Jino Metatu Sisake Nilayo Nilatanama Pido Dataja Lohita Dhamma Dhammaja Manjita Nigamansu Babasara Sadhu 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 Yojana Aneka Jatiyam Sabudadara Magaji Vidampi Buddhi Bemado Alakamanaso Adasiewa Atika Sadato Baram Aburi Sila Baramatika Pam Tasamidiya Bayada Magadam Jamekadik Bakanamami
Rana Sarabatitina Dipina Tamantam Sina Tiloka Dipe Sabudam Pujayami Damududam Wana Genda Gunobedam Eden Kusumo Santatim Pujayami Monodesa Siri Pada Saruhe
Adiwasa tuno bante Paniyam pari kapita Anukampam upadaya Patiganatu utama Adiwasa tuno bante Pujanam pari kapita Anukampam upadaya Patiganatu utama Bawantan Ogatha Ogatha, Ogatha, Kayake, Wasike, Menoke, Zapatosa, Kathingto, Epiero Go, Biabazinche, Ejonga, Batama, Tutia, Tatia, Dejane, Nijane, Donjamia, Paya, Yana, Daya, Yana, Ganga Yana Mia Tomba Doko Ayo Atem Akle Amia Le Samuje Shiko Buzo Pumia Mansho Garoba Ie Shimpaya Kroyato Ajo Ajao Abeleba Gathomba Yebesheba Yentumyangaba Webatialeba Tidanataya Ngaba Doma Akakate Kenoni Dipye Madeya Podeya Nei Bendeya Domyago Yabalo Ishin Paya Valentine.
Aham bande tisara nena saha nawanga sampana kadam uposada silam damam yachami anugaham katwa silam detha me bande Dudiyampi aham bande tisara nena saha nawanga sampana kadam Uposada silam damam yachami anugaham katwa silam deta me bande Tadiyampi aham bande tisara nena saha nawanga sampana kadam Uposada silam damam yachami anugaham katwa silam deta me bande Amma bande Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangam saranam gacchami. Dudiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dudiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dudiyampi Sangam saranam gacchami. Tadiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tadiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tadiyampi Sangam saranam gacchami. Amma bande.
Panatipata Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Adinatana Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Abrahmacharya Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Musavata Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamatatana Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Vikala Bhojana Ramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Nacha Gita Vadita Visukatasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusana Dana Varamani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Ucha Sayana Mahasayana Varamani Sikapadam Samadhiyami Metta sahagatena chetesa sababane budesu paritva viharanam samadhiyami. Amabane Valentine.
In the Aum, could you please substitute for Nyanbong Ten on 9 Virtues of the Buddha, prayer book, page 12?
Iti piso bhagawa araham sama sambuddho vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati Sata Deva Manusanam Buddha Bhagava
Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opaneiku pachatam weditapo wenyuhi.
Supati Peno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Ujupati Peno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Nyayapati Peno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Samitipati Peno Bhagavato Savaka Sango Yadidam Satari Parisa Yugani Atta Parisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sango Ahuneo Pahuneo Dakineo Anjali Karaniyo Anutaram Punya Ketan Bogasa Pamantan.
Werahomi Apya Bajohomi Anikohomi Sukyatana Bariharami Mama Madabidu Acharya Cha Nyat Dimita Cha Sabrama Charinoja Awera Hontu Apya Bajohomi Anika hontu sukyatana bariharantu ameka araka deota ima sami awase ima sami arave araka deota awe rahontu abhyavaja hontu anika hontu sukyatana bariharantu. Sabe Sata, Sabe Bana, Sabe Buddha, Sabe Bugala, Sabe Atra Pariya Bana. Sabe Itio, Sabe Purisa, Sabe Arya, Sabe Anariya, Sabe Dewa, Sabe Manusa, Sabe Vinipatika. Awera hontu, apya baja hontu, anika hontu, suki atanam pariharantu. Duka mujantu, yata lada sampatito, mawika jantu, kamasaka.
Pratimaya Tisaya Dakinaya Tisaya Pachimaya Tisaya Ottavaya Tisaya Pratimaya Anutisaya Dakinaya Anutisaya Pachimaya Anutisaya Ottavaya Anutisaya Hetimaya Tisaya Uparimaya Tisaya.
Sabe Sata, Sabe Bana, Sabe Buddha, Sabe Pogala, Sabe Atabawa Pariya Bana, Sabe Etio, Sabe Purisa, Sabe Arya, Sabe Anariya, Sabe Dewa, Sabe Manusa, Sabe Winipatika, Awera hontu, Abhyapaja hontu, Aniga hontu, Sukhiyatanam pariharantu, Toka mochantu, Yata lata sampatito, Mavigachantu, Kamasaka.
Udamya wa Boagacha Adoya wa Awijito Samada Chaka Walesu Ye Sata Padawi Jara Abya Baja Niraja Nirugaja Janupadawa Udamya wa Boagacha Adoya wa Awijito Samanda Chaka Walesu Ye Sata Udeke Jara Abhyabaja nivaraja Irugaja nupadawa Udam yawa bwagaja Ado yawa awijito Samanta jaka Walesu Yesata akasijara Abhyabaja nivaraja Irugaja nupadawa Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. By one time.
Now we will be learning how to meditate by Chloe, Mei Thun, Valerie, Thazin Jo, and Sumya Pith.
What is meditation? Meditation is a way to keep the mind cool and calm by concentrating on one object. There are many ways to meditate. In our Dhamma class, primarily we study Anapanasati and body scanning meditation. In Anapanasati, a natural focus is your own breath, which is always with you. If you simply keep feeling the breath as it comes in and as it goes out, the mind gets quieter and more peaceful. In body scanning meditation, you scan your whole body from head to toe, from the front and the back. The only trouble is, something will always take your attention away. Maybe a noise or a pain in the knee, but often your own mind is the problem. It is so full of useless stuff. Like a monkey jumping here and there, it is so hard to control. To become the master of your mind, you need some lessons, enough time, and a good place to learn how to practice. With enough practice, meditation helps to replace bad thoughts and feelings with happy ones. Why do we meditate? By learning how to control the mind, we start to get rid of negative habits and develop good mental qualities instead. If your mind is cool, you make good decisions, you don't get confused, you make less mistakes, you don't get angry or feel afraid, and you become more confident. If your mind is calm, you become peaceful and happy, you are less worried and frustrated, you don't get stressed about work or exams, you develop compassion and kindness, and you have more harmonious relationships. If your mind is concentrated, you get less distracted by useless things, you find it easier to focus and learn, you perform better in sports and games, you make better music and art, and you will be more trustworthy. What is different between Samatha and Vipassana meditation? Samatha meditation and Vipassana meditation are two different types of meditation. Samatha aims at achieving deep concentration, while Vipassana aims at understanding both the body and mind. In Samatha meditation, the focus is solely on one object to attain deep concentration, such as by fixing the mind on a single point. In contrast, Vipassana meditation involves observing various mental and physical processes as they occur. During Samatha meditation, when the mind wanders, we bring it back to the chosen object. However, in Vipassana meditation, when the mind wanders, we observe it without trying to control it. Only when the distraction fades, we return our focus to the primary object. These differences in focus and approach distinguish the two types of meditation.
Guided muscle relaxation meditation. We are going to practice guided muscle relaxation meditation. But before we begin, please straighten your body, center yourself in the middle of your camera, put your hands together with the right on top of the left with your thumbs connected and place them in your lap. Then close your eyes. Step 1. When I say a group of muscle, focus on the group of muscles you hear and feel the tenseness in them. Step 2. Mentally relax those group of muscles. Step 3. Feel those muscles completely relaxed. Let's start. Your scalp muscles, all the muscles on your head, are relaxed. Your forehead and eyebrows are relaxed. Your eyes, ears, nose, lips, and chin are relaxed. Your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Your arms, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers are relaxed. Your chest and upper back are relaxed. Your abdomen and lower back are relaxed. Your hips and thighs are relaxed. Your knees and legs are relaxed. Your ankles, feet, and toes are relaxed. Now your whole body from head to toe fully relaxed.
We are now going to move on to Anapanasati meditation. You are going to focus on your breath. When you breathe in, a puff of air touches the tip of your nose. Make yourself aware of the touch. When you breathe out, a slightly warmer puff of air touches the tip of your nose. Make yourself aware of the touch. We are going to practice counting technique with each cycle of in-breath and out-breath. You will count from 1 to 8 and do not let your mind wander. If your mind wanders out, start counting from 1 again. We'll first practice together. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 1. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 2. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 3. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 4. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 5. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 6. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 7. Breathe in, aware of the touch. Breathe out, aware of the touch. 8. Now go back to 1, start counting on your own and focus. We are now done meditating.
Doga pata chani doga, Baya pata chani baya, Soga pata chani soga, Onto sabe pipani no. Nahi wera na werani, Samanti jakuta janam, Awera na ja samanti, Esatamosa nandano.
Sabba papa sa akaranam, kusalasa upa sampada Sachita pariyo dabanam etam buddhana sasanam.
Marana me duvam, Jivita me aduvam, Idam me punyam, Nibbanasa pachayo hotu, Imam punya bhagam, Sabhasatanam bhajema, Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That one time.
It is now part 2 of the Dhamma class, and again, please do not eat anything. However, drinking water is now fine. So we'll be starting off with program number 1, which is Chant of Mangala Sutta by Maithun, Mathing, Hazel, Thing, Chloe, Alexander, Thunzin, Tiffany, Mason D, and Emma.
Mangala Sutta Ya Mangalam Dwadasahi Chinta Yim Su Sadewata Sotana Nadika Chanti Atatim Sanjat Mangalam Desitam Dewa Dewena Sabba Baba Vinasanam Sabba Loka Hitataya Mangalam Dambana Mahe. Ewa Mesutam Eka Samayam Bhagavat Sawadiyam Viharati Chetawale Ananta Bindikasa Arame Atako Enyandara Dewata Abhigataya Ratiya Kandaya Ratiya Abhigata Wanakil Walakapa Chetawanam Upasita Yana Bhagava Tenu Upasankami Twa Bhagavantam Abhivadetwa Ekamantam Athasi Ekamantam Titako Sadevata Bhagavantam Kataya Ajabasi.
Thing, it is your turn.
Next.
Patirupa Tesawa Socha Pubecha Katapunyata Ata Sama Paniticha Eta Mangalamutamam Bahu Sajancha Sibancha Vinayacha Susikito Subasidacha Yawacha Eta Mangalamutamam.
Mata pitu upataram utajarasa sangoho anakula chakamanta etamalamutamam danancha damachariya cha nyataka nancha sangoho anavajana ni gamani etamangalamutamam.
Arati wirati papa majapana cha sanyamo apamato cha tamesu etam mangalamuttamam. Garawocha niwatocha santutica katanyuta kalena dhamma sawanam etam mangalamuttamam.
Kanti jaso ajasata samanananja dasanam kalena dhamma sakacha edamangalam uttamam tapoja brahmacharyancha arya sajana dasanam nibbana sajikiriyaja edamangalam uttamam.
Buddhasa lokadamehi chitamyasa na gampati asokam virajam gemam etamangala mutamam edatisani katwana sabata ma parajita sabata sotim gachanti tam te samangala mutamam mangala sutam nititam sadhu sadhu sadhu. One time. Tiwa tapati kata tiwa tapati adijo rati mabati jantima sanato katiyo tapati jayi tapati brahmano atha saba mahoratam puro tapati tejasa tadisam tejasampanam puram vandami sandaram Etena satyawachena sohime hotu sabada sotime te hotu sabada.
We're now moving on to program number 2, which is Basic Buddhism. First by Hela Allen, this intro, then by Chloe Mason D. and May Thun, then by Noel Shintha and Tiffany, then by Victoria and Chinky, and then by Bia Bala and Keishin, then by Swizz and Simya Pitt, and then by Hazel and Alexander, and lastly by Linlin and Thunson.
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Hela and my Buddhist name is Sukha Bala, which means power of happiness. So today we'll be talking about something with a Dhamma friend of mine. So Tazinja, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Mingalaba Dhamma class. My name is Nizancho, and my Buddhist name is Jana Bali, which means power of concentration. So, Hinaang, what will we be talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about Kaya Kama. So Tazinja, could you please go first?
What is Kaya Kama? The Pali word Kaya Kama, called Kayakan in Burmese, means bodily actions, which happen through the body. These actions come from the mind, and the body acts them out. The body is like a door through which actions are performed.
Some actions, like killing or stealing, can be done through speech by giving commands, but they are still considered bodily actions. Bodily actions can be good or bad. There are 3 bad bodily actions to avoid.
1. Banadipada, killing living beings. 2. Adinadana, taking what is not given, stealing. 3. Kamesumichajara, sexual misconduct. By avoiding these bad actions, we perform good bodily actions, which help us create a peaceful and kind life. That is all, so now we will be asking questions. So Hinaang, could you please ask the first one?
The first question is for Snowy, and it is, what does Kaya Kama mean?
Kaya kama means bodily actions, which are actions we do using our body.
That is correct. So Dazinjo, could you please ask the next question?
Niyithan, where do bodily actions come from?
They come from our mind and our body carries them out.
That is correct. Hinaang, could you please ask the next question?
The next question is for Snowy again, and it is, what are the 3 bad bodily actions we should avoid?
Killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct.
That is correct. So, Dazincha, could you please ask the last question?
My last question is to Nathan, which is, why is it important to avoid bad bodily actions?
Avoiding bad actions help us live a peaceful and kind life.
That is correct.
That is also thank you for listening.
Hello, Manglaba. My name is Chloe Ching, and my Buddhist name is Diti Bali, which means keeper of wisdom. I live in Chino Hills, California. So today, my Dhamma friends will be joining me. So Mason D, please introduce yourself. Hello, Manglaba. My name is Mason D. My Buddha name is Loka Bali, which means Garden of the Lord. I live in Port Lavaca, Texas. So May Dune, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Manglaba. My name is Maitun and my Buddhist name is Charu Bali, which means keeper of beauty. I live in Toronto, Canada. So Chloe, what will we be talking about today?
We will be talking about Wasigama. So Mason D, you can go first. Please listen carefully because we will be asking questions at the end. What is Wachigama? The Pali word Wachigama, called Wachigan in Burmese, means actions we do for speech or the words we say. These are known as verbal actions. Verbal actions come from our mind and we express them through speaking. Verbal actions can also be good or bad. Even though some actions like lying can be done by writing or using hand signals, they are still considered verbal actions because they usually happen through speech. Therefore, mean bad verbal actions to avoid.
1. Musawada, lying, false speech. 2. Pisuna waja, slandering, saying bad things to cause trouble. 3. Harusa waja, using harsh or hurtful words. 4. Sampapalapa, talking about useless or silly things, frivolous talks.
By avoiding this bad speech, we perform good verbal actions, which help us speak truthfully and kind. So now we'll be asking questions. So Mason D, please ask your first question. So my first question is to Singling. So Singling, what does Wachigama mean? Wachigama means actions we do with our speech or the words we say. Yes, that's correct. So May June, please ask your next question.
So my next question is to Amara. So Amara, where do verbal actions come from?
They come from our mind and we express them by speaking.
That's correct. Chloe, could you please ask your next question?
My next question is to Xingling, and what are the 4 bad verbal actions we should avoid? Lying, slandering, using hurtful words, and talking about useless things. Yes, that is correct. So Mason D, please ask your last question. So my last question is to Amara. So Amara, why is it important to avoid bad verbal actions? Speaking truthfully and kindly helps us have good relationship and a peaceful life. Yes, that's correct. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Noel and my Buddhist name is Monapala, which means power of personality. So today I'll be joined by my Dhamma friends, Shanta and Tiffany. So could you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Shintan. My Buddhist name is Moka Bali, which means field keeper. So Tiffany, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Tiffany. My Buddhist name is Santa Pali, which means peacekeeper. So, Noel, what will we be talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about Manokama. So Tiffany, could you please start?
What is Manokama? Please listen carefully because we'll be asking questions at the end. What is Manokama?
The Pali word manokama or manokan in Burmese means actions that happen in the mind. These are thoughts or mental actions that do not involve the body or speech. These mental actions come through what we call the mind door, which is a way of talking about our thoughts and consciousness.
There are three bad mental actions we should avoid. Abhija, covetousness, wanting to take something that belongs to someone else. 2. Vyapada, ill will, wishing harmful or suffering for someone. 3. Vichaditi, wrong view, believing things are harmful or untrue, like thinking actions don't have consequences.
These wrong views include ideas like 1. Denying that there is life after death or that good and bad actions have effects, or 2. Believing that actions don't matter or have consequences, and 3. Thinking that life happens by chance or fate without any reason or cause.
By avoiding these bad thoughts, we perform good mental actions and we keep our minds healthy and kind. So now we'll be asking questions. So my first question is to Rebecca, and it is, what is manokama?
It means actions that can happen in the mind.
That is correct. Shintan, could you please ask your question?
Rebecca, what are bad mental actions symbol?
Wanting others' things, wishing harm, and wrong beliefs.
That's correct. Thank you. Tiffany, what is your question?
My question is to Rebecca, and why is an example of a wrong belief?
Thinking actions have no consequences.
Yes, that's correct. Noel, what's your last question?
My last question is to Rebecca, and it is, why should we avoid bad mental actions?
To keep our minds healthy and good.
Yes, that is correct, and that is all. Thank you for listening.
It is now Victoria and Shinki's turn.
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Victoria, and my Buddhist name is Uchupali, which means honest keeper. So today I will be talking about something with my dear Dhamma friend. So Shinki, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Mingalawa. My name is Shinki. My Buddhist name is Eka Palat, which means the power of energy, and I live in Colorado. So, Victoria, what will we be talking about today?
Today we will be talking about what is kusala. So Shinki, can you please start?
Kusala Kuto in Burmese means wholesome or good actions that help us grow and bring positive results. A wholesome deed is one that doesn't harm anyone, including ourselves. 2 is praised by wise people. And 3 benefits ourselves and others.
The 10 kusala deeds include 1. Dana, generosity. 2. Sila, virtue. 3. Bhavana, meditation. 4. Apajayana, showing respect. 5. Vayavaja, helping others. 6. Patidana, sharing good deeds. 7. Padanumodana, celebrating others' good actions. 8. Dhamma Savana, listening to teachings. 9. Dhamma Desana, teaching Dhamma to others. 10. Dikju Gama, developing correct views.
On the other hand, akuto in Burmese means unwholesome actions like killing, stealing, lying, and being unkind.
So now we'll be asking questions, and my first question is to Gina Bala, and it is, what does kusala mean?
Can you repeat the question?
What does kusala mean?
Kusala means good actions that bring positive results.
That is correct. Shinki, can you please ask your next question?
What Juju, what makes an action wholesome?
It doesn't harm, is praised by the wise, and helps everyone.
That is correct. So, Victoria, please ask your question.
My question to Gina Bala is, can you name one kusala deed?
Yes, generosity, dana, is one good deed.
That is correct. Shinki, can you please ask the last question?
Juju, what is the opposite of kusala?
Akusala, which means bad actions like lying or stealing.
That is correct. So, thank you for watching.
It is now Biabala and Keishing's turn.
Hi, Dhamma class. My name is Kevin Hong, and my Buddhist name is Biabla, which means power of love. Today, I'll be sharing something to the Dhamma class from my dear friend, Gishing. So, Gishing, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Mingalava. My name is Keishin, and my Buddha name is Jota Bala, which means the power of light. So, Bia Bala, what will we be talking about?
Today, we'll be talking about Aku Salat.
Please listen carefully because we'll be asking questions at the end. I'll go first. Aku Salat. Akuto in Burmese means unwholesome or bad actions. These are actions, thoughts, or speech that cause harm to ourselves or others. Akusala actions come from negative emotions like greed, hatred, or ignorance.
When we do something harmful like lying, hurting others, or being selfish, it is considered Aku Salat because it creates suffering. Just like how eating unhealthy food can make us sick, doing unwholesome actions can hurt our minds and lead to unhappiness.
Buddha teaches that we should avoid akusala actions and instead focus on kusala, which means wholesome or good actions. By being kind, honest, and mindful, we help create happiness for ourselves and others. Avoiding akusala leads to a peaceful and joyful life. So now we'll be asking questions.
Gina Blah, what does Aku Salat mean? Akusala means bad actions that cause harm.
So Cynthia, where do akusala actions come from?
They come from greed, hatred, or ignorance.
That is correct. So, Gia Blat, may you ask your next question?
Gina Blah, why should we avoid Akusala actions? They bring suffering and unhappiness. That's correct. So, Kishin, could you please ask the last question?
Cynthia, what should we do instead of agusalat?
We should do kusala, which means good actions.
That is correct. Thank you for watching and listening.
It is now Susan and Sumyape's turn.
Hello to my class, my name is Suizan, and my Buddhist name is Wansap Bali, which means keeper of relatives. Joining me today is my dear Dhamma friend Sumya Pe. So Sumya Pe, can you please introduce yourself? Hello everyone, my name is Sumya Pe. My Buddhist name is Chita Bali, which means the regarder of mind. So Suizan, what will we be talking about today? We'll be talking about loba, and please listen carefully because in the end we'll be asking some questions. Loba is a Bali word that means greed or desire. It's like wanting things so much that it becomes harmful. Loba can appear in many ways, such as hoarding, being obsessed with getting more, being stingy, or wanting what others have. Even being overly careful not to waste things can be a subtle form of loba. Loba makes us hold on tightly to what we want, and when we don't get it, it can turn into anger, dota, leading to bad actions. To avoid this, we should learn to be content, santosa, and let go of our desires for material things, kama. We must also be careful not to let strict attachment to rules or rituals block our spiritual growth. So now we'll be asking questions. My first question is to Mary, and it is, what does lobat mean?
Loba means greed or wanting too much.
That is correct. Sumipe, please ask your question. My question is to Amara, and it is, how can loba appear?
It can show as hoarding, being stingy, or wanting what others have.
That is correct, thank you. So Ethan, please ask your next question.
My next question is to Mary, and it is, what can Lobot turn into?
It can turn into anger, dosa, and bad actions.
That is correct. Sumit, please ask your last question.
The last question is to Amara. How can we avoid Loba?
By being content and letting go of too much dassery.
That is correct, thank you. That is all for today.
It is now Hazel and Alexander's turn.
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Hazel and my Buddhist name is Riba Bali, which means beauty keeper. Today I'll be sharing something with my dear Dhamma friend Alexander. So Alexander, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Alexander. My Buddhist name is Ujubala, which means power of honesty. So Hazel, what will we be talking about today?
Today we'll be talking about dosa. Everyone, please listen carefully because we'll be asking questions at the end. What is dosa? Dosa means feelings like hatred, anger, and ill will. It can show up as dislike, grudges, or even boredom and frustration. Anger can happen easily, especially when we hear something we don't like. There are two main reasons we feel anger.
1. Negative things. Some things in life upset us, but remember, everything changes. Our feelings and thoughts aren't permanent.
2. How we focus. Sometimes we can focus too much on the bad and ignore the good. A wise person tries to stay calm and sees the bright side with kindness.
To overcome anger, we can practice loving kindness, compassion, and understanding. If those don't work, it's best to avoid the situation for a while. We'll now be asking questions, so Hazel, please ask your first question.
My first question is to Cynthia, and it is, what does dosa mean?
Dosa means feelings like anger, hatred, and ill will.
That is correct. Alexander, please ask the next question.
My next question is to Thain, and it is, what are 2 reasons we feel anger?
Negative things happen, and we focus too much on the bad instead of good.
That is correct. Hazel, please ask your last question.
My last question is for Cynthia, and it is, how can we overcome anger?
We can practice loving kindness, compassion, and understanding.
That is correct. Alexander, please ask the last question.
My last question is to Thain, and it is, what should we do if we still feel angry?
If kindness doesn't help, it's best to step away and calm down.
That's correct. Thank you for listening.
It is now Linlin and Thunsen's turn.
Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Linlin, and my Buddhist name is Manopali, which means keep our minds. Joining me today is my dear brother Thensen. So Thensen, can you please introduce yourself? Hello, Dhamma class. My name is Then, and my Buddhist name is Sati Bala, which means power of courage. So Linlin, what will we be sharing today? Today we'll be talking about moha. So Thensen, can you please begin? What is moha? Moha means delusion or confusion or ignorance. It is when we don't see things clearly or understand the truth. Moha makes us misunderstand the world, leading to wrong thoughts and actions. For example, someone believes that being selfish or mean will make them happy. That's moha. It clouds their mind, making them forget that kindness and honesty bring real happiness. Moha is like a fog where we can't see the right path. Buddha teaches that moha is one of the 3 main causes of suffering, along with greed and hatred. To overcome moha, we need wisdom and mindfulness, which help us see the world clearly and make better choices. When we remove delusion, we understand life better and feel more peaceful and happy. So I'll be asking some questions. So my first question is to Anlinte, and it is, what does moha mean?
Moha means delusion and confusion or ignorance.
That is correct. So Lillian, can you please ask your question? My question to Akari is, what does moha do to our mind?
It makes us misunderstand things and see the world incorrectly.
Yes, that is correct. So Tenzin, can you please ask your question? My next question is also to Anlinte, and it is, can you give me an example of moha?
Believing that being selfish will make you happy is moha.
That's correct. So, Lily, can you please ask your last question? My last question to Akri is, how can we overcome moha?
By gaining wisdom and being mindful to see things clearly.
Yes, that is correct. That is all, and thank you for listening.
We're now moving on to program number 3, which is choose the correct one out of the given answers by Hank and Hema.
Mingaba, my name is Hank, and my Buddha name is Sutabala, which means the power of knowledge. Today, I'll be joined by my twin sister. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Hema, and my Buddhist name is Hemapali, which means peacekeeper.
Today, we'll be asking 16 questions to the individuals May, Cindy, Martin, Amara, Snowy, Lyra, Akari, Nathan, William, Maythun, Benji, Xinglan, Mary, Jinabala, Jewel, Chloe, Amiette, Alente, Alexander, Thain, and June. To start off, May Cindy, what does Kayakama mean?
Yakama means bodily actions, which are actions we do using our body.
That is correct. Martin, where do bodily actions come from?
They came from our mind and body carry them out.
That is correct. Amara, what are the 3 bad bodily actions we should avoid?
Killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct.
That is correct. Snowy, why is it important to avoid bad bodily actions?
Avoiding bad actions help us live a peaceful and kind life.
That is right. Lyra, what does wasikama mean?
Wasikama means actions we do with our speech or the words we say.
That is correct. Akari, where do verbal actions come from?
They come from our mind and we express them by speaking.
You are correct. Ninyantan, what is manokama?
It means actions that happen in the mind.
That is correct. William, what are bad mental actions to avoid?
Wanting others' things, wishing harm, and wrong beliefs.
That is correct. Maythun, why should we avoid bad mental actions?
To keep our minds healthy and good.
And that is correct. And Benji, what does kusala mean?
Kusala means good actions that bring positive results.
And that is correct.
Xinglan, what makes an action wholesome?
It doesn't harm, it's praised by the wise and helps everyone.
That is correct. Mary, what is the opposite of kusala?
Akusala, which means bad actions like lying or stealing.
That is correct. Gina Bala, what does akusala mean?
Akusala means bad actions that cause harm.
That is correct. Jewel, where do akusala actions come from?
They come from greed, hatred, or ignorance.
That is correct. Chloe, why should we avoid akusala actions?
They bring suffering and unhappiness.
That is correct. Amiet, what should we do instead of akusala?
We should do usala, which means good actions.
That is correct. Alente, what does kaya kama mean?
Akas means bad actions that cause harm.
That is close. Kaya kama means bodily actions, which are actions we do using our body. Alexander, where do bodily actions come from?
They come from our mind and our body carries them out.
That is correct. Thing, what are the 3 bad bodily actions we should avoid?
Killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct.
That is correct. June, why is it important to avoid bad bodily actions? Well, the correct answer is avoiding bad actions helps us live a peaceful and kind life. Thank you for listening.
We are now moving on to program number 4, which is Answer the Questions by the Zinjo.
Hello, Minglaba Dhamma class. My name is Thazanjo, and my Buddhist name is Jana Bali, which means power of concentration. Today, I will be asking a few questions to some individuals, so please have your correct programs ready and close by. Jewel, how do you chant metta meditation on yourself?
Ahem aware homi, abhya bhajo homi, anigo homi, sukhiyatana harami.
That is correct. Thank you. Lyra, how do you chant metta meditation on your parents?
Mama mata pitu aware hontu, abhya bhaja hontu, aniga hontu, sukhiyatana pariharantu.
That is correct. Thank you. Amara, how do you chant metta meditation on your relatives and friends?
Yati mitaja rera arera hontu abya baja hontu anika hontu suki atanam pariharatu.
That is correct. Thank you. Shinlang, how do you chant metta meditation on your Dhamma class?
Sabra majari nocha avira hontu abya baja hontu anika hontu sukhiyatana pariharantu.
That is correct. Thank you. Mathing, what is Buddhism? Please answer in Bali and English.
Sababa sa akaranam, not to do any evil. Kusalasa upasabada, to practice good. Satitavaryo dabana, to purify your mind. Ita Buddhanasa Sana, this is teaches the Buddhas, which means this is the Buddhism.
That is correct. Thank you. And Ting Ting, how do you chant metta meditation on yourself?
Ahem avela homi, abya baja homi, anega homi, sukhiyatana pariharami.
That is correct. That is all, and thank you for listening.
We are now at the end of the Dhamma class, so everyone please put your hands together and recite Buddha Sasanam Chiram Tedatu 3 times. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Tedatu, may the Buddha's teachings last long. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Tedatu, may the Buddha's teachings last long. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Tedatu, may the Buddha's teachings last long. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for coming.